But let's do that again. Yeah. Yeah. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I'm joined by my co-host, my brother from another mother. Blood couldn't make us any closer. One of the best photographers in the world, my brother Santana. Say something to the people.
What's good? What's good? What's good? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all here with us tonight. And for that, we thank you. And as always, we got a jam-packed show for y'all. So we just gonna get right into it. You heard?
Y'all already know we on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers. So continue to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit that all notification. Just never know when we'll pop up. And we got memberships. Tap into the membership portion of the page. Different memberships get different access. They're worth it. So again, also tap into the membership portion in the channel. Again, shout out to some of our day ones already in the building. Shout out to some of them badge holders already in the building. Shout out to King P. I see Winter. I see Treeman. And I see T in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Showing that love. Stay engaged in the chat. Stay engaged in the chat, man. For real, for real. I feel like I'm forgetting something right off the back. But yeah, just again, y'all continue to stay engaged. It's over 300, there's over 400 rewatchable videos right now of this podcast on this channel. So continue to follow, like, subscribe, and share. Got tons of short videos as well too. So make sure you tap into those as well. It's a whole bunch of content. So make sure y'all tap in. Like I said, this is episode 159. This this episode is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps, button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. So again, thank y'all for tapping in. I feel like we're missing something else. But let's get to it, bro. Let's get to it. Again, shout out to those in the chat. Remember, stay engaged in the chat. Our show was built off love, and continue to show that love, man. So again, tap in. First segment of the night. Y'all already know what time it is. It's popular opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, where the label model is create, document, and inspire. Go on Instagram at OUV Records. Again, at OUV Records. And stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. You see some of that right there at the top. So make sure y'all tap in. All right, y'all. First popular opinion question of the night. And remember, y'all, these are not our questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. All right. Which Michael Jackson song or title would make for an interesting movie? Which Michael Jackson song title would make for an interesting movie? Number one, Smooth Criminal. Number two, Man in the Mirror. Number three, They Don't Care About Us. Number four, Thriller. Let us know what y'all think in the chat. That's interesting because Michael Jackson, like even his music videos, felt like movies. But matter of fact, like Mike at the time he was like super active. Was the only artist I knew with that type of budget. Where it was like, yeah, we was thinking about doing this video. Mike like, yeah, nah, forget all that. Be like, if it ain't a 35-minute video, I ain't trying to do nothing. I'm trying to do some serious acting. I'm trying to wear some gothic. I'm trying to do whatever I want to do. So Mike was like the only artist I've ever seen take his budget and turn it into like damn near like independent films or almost.
Have people fainting just from the mere presence of him. So you know what I'm saying?
That's
That's that's how he had the extra bread to make music videos. But for
that's
me, I'm gonna go with Man in the Mirror because I feel like that could be like some psychological horror type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I think somebody could use that title and make it into like some lit movie that have you like, damn, make you really think. So I'm gonna go with my Man in the Mirror.
Fire. I like that idea. Man in the Mirror is very interesting. Based on the storyline, the words, the lyrics of the music, there's so many different layers to that song that honestly I think would make for a great movie. Um, because you said Man in the Mirror, I want to agree with you, but I'll probably change my answer just because I would like to see this movie as well. I ain't gonna hold you. I want to see they don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? Because remind you, the original video, he all in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? He shut down Brazil. You know what I'm saying? It was like Mike was over here and everybody was on the outside. You know what I'm saying? They had enough cops and all that to keep everybody situated. But for me, I think it would be just as lit that the fact that we live in a country that for real have shown us traditionally that they don't really care about us. So I think that would be an interesting take in today's age. And it's crazy how music live on forever. Like they don't really care about us came out probably like in the 90s and we're in 2025. So I would love to see that, whether it's the government, whether it's the policing, whether it's different parts of the government where they're playing on a whole different level and we're just basically the mice in the middle. So I would love to see, like I said, they don't care about us. The chat said man in the mirror. The chat said man in the mirror. My bro said man in the mirror. At 35%, the rest of the world said number one, Smooth Criminal. What do you think about that?
Criminal as a lit movie as well too. So and then he like based on the you know what I'm saying the lyrics again, the video, and all that you got material from that.
Yeah, I agree, bro. Mind you, like Smooth Criminal was a fire video by itself. Like Smooth Criminal was so fire, they turned it into a whole video game, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just off the just off the music video concept, they turned it into a whole video game where you could go inside the casino, beat up wild gangsters by spinning like three times and hit them with the, you know what I'm saying, hit them with the Michael Jackson move and they'll die. You know what I'm saying? So shout
Mhm.
out to MJ for being so polarizing in the culture. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next popular opinion question, y'all. Most controversial rap album. This is for all the true rap heads. Most controversial rap album on this list. Most controversial rap album on this list. Number one, Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP. Number two, NWA, Straight Outta Compton. Number three, Nas, Untitled. Originally, it was called the N Word with the hard ER at the end. Number four, Two Live Crew, As Nasty as They Wanna. Which one you going with, bro? It's Two Live Crew on here, though. I'm saying, like,
So the most controversial,
yeah,
I'm probably gonna go with Two Live Crew. I feel like they was at when they was on their come up and their rise, and the spotlight was on them and their music and what they was talking about. I feel like it was very, very controversial, and they had a bunch of issues when it came to shows and all that. So I'm gonna go with Two Live Crew.
yeah, bro. I'm right there with you, bro. I'm gonna agree with you with Two Live Crew. We both, you from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn. And the first time I seen Mad Chocolate Booties on a cassette tape, and then you seen the brother on there with no shirt on, and there's like a little pool party. I'm like, yo, I don't know what they talking about, but I want to know what they talking about because this look too appetizing to an 8, 9 year old kid. Mind you, I know y'all about to judge. I had no business watching and hearing a lot of things that I was saying in my upcoming upbringing. But look, my parents had real worries. You know what I'm saying? They worry about putting food on the table. They working 2, 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brothers, you know what I'm saying? We gotta entertain ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So Two Live Crew, when he brought the tape home and I seen the cover, I was like, who that, bro? You know what I'm saying? Let me see that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say Two Live Crew. Actually, Two Live Crew had laws changed on how we're able to make music and how what we're able to use as promotion. So um I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say Two Live Crew. In the chat, yo, shout out to Diego. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Big love. Pause. But shout out to you for tapping in. Uh, Again, I went with Two Live Crew. My bro went with Two Live Crew. In the chat, shout out to Ebony in the building. In the chat, they went with NWA. The rest of the world at 52%. I'm seeing Two Live Crew. Shout out to Missy in the building. Shout out to Missy in the building. She also went with Two Live Crew. Again, the rest of the world at 52% went with NWA straight out of Compton. What do you think about that?
And then you straight, I mean, yeah, I can see that too as well. With the title and all that as well. So that it was just as just as controversial, but you know what I'm saying, the society feel is more controversial. So
Yeah. And you know what I think it is too? Because remember, they had their movie. So people got to see their movie and how they had to move about. We still yet to get our Two Live Crew biopic. Yo, Luke Campbell, what's up? Like the culture need that biopic. Two Live Crew, you, Chinaman, and the rest of the Wild Boys. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to who sung "Knocking the Boots"? Who's the group that sung "Knocking the Boots"?
I'm not gonna remember off the top of my head right now.
Ace, there you go, Ace Town. Ace Town sung knocking the boot. So you got Uncle Luke, you got Chinaman, you got rest of the Nasty Boys, you got H Town in them. You know what I'm saying? You got Pitbull in the crew. You know what I'm saying? That's a wild bunch right there, bro. That's a young wild crew, Miami style. We need the biopic. So Luke Campbell, stop playing and give the culture the biopic, bro. We need that biopic. The story is too important not to tell. Oh wow, that would be a wild movie with Uncle Luke. Yes, yeah. If you ever seen a movie called The Rod and Uncle Luke was in that as well, and that movie is a classic, and that was like kind of like lightweight of like the rap industry because it was a comedy and you had all these famous people in there being wild funny. Cedric the Entertainer, uh, 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 the dude that played Pops on the Wayne's Brothers, Malik. Yo, it was just too many funny people in that movie. The movie was fire, but we need a Two Live Crew biopic. I'm gonna mention that in my next episode as far as what Hollywood wants. Uncle Luke be playing. We need that biopic, brother. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next popular opinion question: best after school sport. Best after school sport. I know it's a lot of y'all in the chat. Listen, that best after school sport growing up used to hit different. So here's the choices. All right. Again, these are the world's questions. Number one, backyard baseball. Number two, super nerf football. Number three, basketball taps. Well, those who don't know taps, with the basketball. Number four, kickball. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, it was backyard baseball, super nerf football, number two. Number three was taps, meaning basketball. And number four is kickball. Let us know what y'all think in the chat. Bro, what you going with?
Those to go to for after school. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. You remember, like the Nerf footballs changed the game because before that it was wild soft and you really couldn't, you know what I'm saying, throw a good spiral on that thing. But when they came out with the crevices on the super Nerf joint and then it had a little weight to it, you talking about throwing 40, 50 yards as a little jit, as a youngin'? Oh, you gonna see every bit of this Warren Moon out here. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm agree with you. I'm a football rat myself. I'm gonna go super nerd football as well. I'm seeing baseball in the chat. I'm seeing kickball in the chat. Kickball was a good time. I'm not gonna hold you because kickball you can involve the ladies. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I didn't know Tanya could run like that. You know what I'm saying? So kickball was kind of fire. Baseball, backyard baseball is cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to Sammy Sosa that thing, and I'm gonna mess around with like my parents that had no type of money to pay for no windows. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with y'all. They saying the good old days. That's a fact. Like that's when kids was really outside for real. You know what I'm saying? Like we was outside so much. Well, we smell like outside. You know what I'm saying? You ever smell somebody and they smell like outside? We was them kids that played all day and smelled like outside. Like when we came in the crib, that bath was calling us in a whole other way. Like our parents wouldn't talk to us unless we get into that shower because we dead smelling like sauerkraut and outside juice. So that was just a different time in place that we just not at right now. But good time. But I'm gonna say Super Nerd football. I'm agree with my bro. He went with Super Nerd football in the chat. I'm seeing a mix of stuff. I'm seeing baseball. I'm seeing kickball. The rest of the world at 41% went with taps, which is for those who don't know taps, it's a basketball and you just be jumping in the air and you skill it and toss it off to your boy. It's an easy game to play. 41% of that said it was basketball taps. I know in the chat they probably a little tight about that one, but all of these was a good time. It was a good time, bro. Good time, and we could do this for hours. For hours. We
Start up for the day. You know what I'm saying? You start up with taps. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you outside all day, so you need something to warm you up. You know what I'm saying? So you playing taps. Just it's 11 o'clock in the morning. We outside playing taps. You know what I'm saying?
dudes was playing taps on their way to the store. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Have to get your beverages ready. You know what I'm saying?
what type of eye hand and eye coordinate. No wonder when we was playing football for real, all that became super easy because that muscle memory was like that's all we do all day. So, yo, that was a good time. Shout out to our childhood, man. Good times, man. Good times. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Hollywood Need to Ask Us. We came up with this segment because Hollywood no longer give us great movies or even great ideas. They don't think outside the box. It's always typical. We feel like we got better ideas for movies or movie series. So, you want to start this one off?
Amount of prices because they price gouging these tickets so high. So I want to see a series about Ticketmaster and how are they able to be the conglomerate when it comes to ticket sales on concerts and anything else as far as attractions. You have to go to Ticketmaster. So it's like, why can't you go to the source? If source you got the website, if it's a artist and they already had dealings with this certain venue before, they could be like, yo, I'm gonna be in town on the 28th. I'm gonna just put it out there that what I'm saying, I'm gonna have a show, and then people could just go to the website, buy the show, buy the tickets from that certain venue. But yet you go to Ticketmaster. I just feel as though with all the technology we have now, there should be many different avenues to get tickets, and they shouldn't be this crazy, it's crazy high in prices. So I want to see something about Ticketmaster and how they solidified themselves in this market and just never went away.
It's not legit unless you got Ticketmaster a part of your situation. Like that's how ingrained they into this. You know what I'm saying?
Like even with there's no other avenues, no other lane that you could like, nah, Ticketmaster too crazy. Let me go over here. There's none over there. You know what I'm saying? It's just Ticketmaster. So I want to know how they did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be fire, bro. I just seen it in the chat. Maybe it was the mafia thing.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how I did it, allegedly, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know, you know what I'm saying? Like how? Because y'all started in the 70s or late 60s, like, you know what I'm saying? We don't have technology from the 60s no more. Can you find an 8-track player? Like, nah, you can't find that. You just can't. So the mere fact that something still in the 60s is still prevalent today, still doing business like the way it is, and not with no newer way, but different other outlets, different options for the consumer. You know what I'm saying? Like, give us a break. Like, damn, these prices is crazy. So interesting though.
Of old technology, just as an educational tidbit, within music, in the music industry, everything is, stream and this, that, and the third. But a radio station won't take a submission unless you have a CD. They want them songs submitted by CD format, which is crazy because everything is, MP3, not MP3. Everything is stream. Yeah, MP3. Everything is like you got the thing to plug in or whatever. There's no CD. They like, nah, bro. You want to submit your songs to the radio station? We only accept CDs. So you got to find yourself a CD, put them songs in a CD, then submit it to us. So that's right now. Yeah, got to be in CD. They if you send it to the host will listen to it. But as far as like playing it, they will play the the promotional portion of it, but the promotional portion of it is not exactly radio spins. So for the official mechanical radio spins, it has to go through the process of you submitting it on a CD.
Like, was the
That
big vinyls, right? So if they was doing songs on vinyls for so long, and then I wonder when they transition to CDs, because they're still using CDs now, right? And we have all this other technology, but you're still using CDs. I'm pretty sure when CDs came out, y'all was probably still using vinyls for a bit. I want to know when they actually switched to now. All right, we doing CDs.
right.
We doing CDs, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's '05. We doing CDs now.
You got cassettes in the midst of that because you got the vinyl cassettes, then the CDs. See what I'm saying? So now they that's the only way that they gonna take you serious. Like, yo, you got your CD with you? Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like I had to go to Kinko's, put all this together just to give y'all the damn CD to submit the song. So, but that's a dope idea, and that will be fun to see as well. All right, so my Hollywood need to ask us. I went down this rabbit hole. I was watching this fire show called Forever. Fire show. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure y'all go check it out. It's a movie series that's about two teenagers who basically, fall in love, and it's like a coming of age, and it's just a fire movie, and it's a great movie series. They also got shout out to them too, real quick. They also got picked up for a second season, a second full movie series, which is dope for a whole another season. The way they ended, I thought it was perfect, but they got added another season, so you still got your brothers and sisters out there working. So cool. But it took me down the rabbit hole because one of the parts of the show, they went to Martha's Vineyard. Now, for those who don't know, Martha's Vineyard has become like a vacationing spot for people who are brothers and sisters. Y'all know what I mean by brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? A vacation spot for people who make over a certain amount of money and they go there to vacation. It started off that way for because the like Massachusetts was like one of those places that we can go to vacation safely and have a good time. And you had all types of people vacationing. So you had athletes, you had political leaders, you had owners, you had all types of people who was affluent from our culture all going to Martha's Vineyard to vacation and to have their families and to be safe and be able to come up with ideas on how to move the culture forward. That's how it started off. So I was like, damn, why do they call it Martha's Vineyard? Who is the cultured woman who bought the land to make it poppin', to make it a safe space to go to? So when I did my research, I found it quite interesting that they still call it Martha's Vineyard. So the reason why they even call it Martha's Vineyard, and this is what I want the movie to be about. I want the movie to be the discovery of Martha's Vineyard. Don't you know that Martha's Vineyard was taken over by a a rich man who became a captain because he was able to pay the cost to be the boss, Bartholomew Gushnash. Bartholomew, bless you, bro. Bartholomew Gushmash, who charted the island for the British Crown in 1602. So he later took over what was called Dope Island at the time, and he renamed it to Martha's Vineyard after his daughter and his mother-in-law. So that's how we got Martha's Vineyard, where a guy came and colonized this whole island. He just took it over, like get down, lay down. So I found it quite interesting that because he took it over, renamed it, and we know the research of it, why hasn't been named back to the native people. So so it's something that I would love to see moving forward as far as the actual movie and the discovery of Martha's Vineyard and then him taking over Martha's Vineyard and how it became to be a vacationing spot for us as cultured people who are, who are well to do and have a good lifestyle.
Like good historical aspect to the movie or series as well too. So
Yeah, I and then in the venue part also comes from the grapes. There's a lot of grapes in that particular island. They're known for the wine. So he just said Martha's Vineyard. So it's like and it's still one of the most expensive places to vacation, to even buy a home. If you even look to rent a place in Martha's Vineyard, I'm talking about it's big buku dollars, like 26,000 a month. That's how much they want for rent in Martha's Vineyard. Like it's crazy expensive in Martha's Vineyard. So shout out to you know the people that's there and was able to turn their money around. Shout out to Critical Rick, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Boogeyman. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Shout out to John. John, appreciate you tapping in as well. They had all the hustlers going while the right colonizers created American civilization. Boy, it would still be weeds and huts. Obama's got a place there. Funny. Yeah, they do have a place there. They do. Barack and Michelle do have a place in. I think they actually like live in Martha's Vineyard 24/7. Yeah. So, but that's how Martha's Vineyard became very popular amongst the culture. They even highlighted it in the movie called Inkwell. I don't know if y'all familiar with Inkwell. Inkwell is a classic fire movie, but they didn't necessarily talk about the history of Martha's Vineyard. They just talked about the family and the families that will go and and have a good time there. So, but I would love to see the historical measure of Martha's Vineyard. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must see segment. Some of y'all most favorite segment, where we have must see movies, must hear music, must read books. 159th episode. We've been giving y'all top tier movies every week to go check out. So make sure y'all go check them out. Come back, let us know what y'all think of them. And yeah, man, you want to start this one off? All right, so my first must-see movie is that with Dwayne Martin. Yes, that's the one with Dwayne Martin. That movie is hilarious. That's called The Inkwell. Uh, my first must-see movie came out in 2003, directed by Roder Donaldson. It stars Al Pacino, Colin Farrell, Bridget Melena, Gabriel Mack, Steve Lynchko, and Edwin Lipinski. This movie is called The Recruit, fire movie about the recruitment of a young agent, and he does things unconventionally. But the older agent, you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all, so make sure y'all tap in to see The Recruit. Next must see movie came out in 2000, directed by Martin Campbell. This movie stars Chris O'Donnell, Robin Tunney, Bill Paxton, Scott Glenn, Isabella Suskanko, Nicole Nicholas Leo. This movie is called Vertical Limit. Fire movie, y'all. Fire movie about a young climber when him and his dad had difficulties and his dad ended up losing his life. And then later on, his sister had to watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. Make sure y'all tap in to see Vertical Limit. Final must see movie came out in 1997. This movie is stars James Marsden, Jennifer McDonald, Kim Murphy, a young Kim Murphy at that, Christopher Matterson, and Ron Livingston. This movie is called Campfire Tales, a fire movie about a young teenagers that's in a rural town. They get together to tell campfire stories, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. So make sure y'all tap it to see Campfire Tales. So again, number one movie to see, The Recruit. Number two, The Vertical Limit. Number three, Campfire Tales. Make sure y'all tap in.
Vertical Limit.
Fire movie, bro. Fire movie.
Y'all know how I do. I always have a theme for my movies. So this week is no different than last week. So this theme for my movies is worst sports movies, right? So it's a specific select few movies that I feel the depiction of the sports in the movie I felt was subpar. The movie itself could be good or bad, depending on how you felt about it. But because it was a sports geared movie, I felt these movies were bad in the sports aspect, right? So the first movie on this list is called Rollerball. Came out in 2002. chill. I didn't even give you even see who I put my leg up yet. Hold on, chill. It stars Chris Klein, Gene Reno, LL Cool J, Rebecca Romaine, Michael Tadros, Naveen Williams, Sindri Andrews, Misha Horisman, Paul Heyman, Oleg Takarov, Ruth Ching, Delilah Alani, Janet Wright, Andrew uh, Boronsky, probably butchered his name, sorry, Kata Dobo, Elisa Riker, and Mike Dupont. Again, rollerball. Imagine you top tier elite baller, right? You know what I'm saying? You and your crew about to play a game tonight, and y'all rolling up to the arena in a Ferrari Spider. Your man's got the H2 Humvee on spinners. Your other man's got the Porsche 911 Carrera, right? Fire, right? Pull up scene crazy. But when you pull up to the locker room, your man's got to throw on a clown mask and some shoulder pad spikes because y'all going to go rollerblading on the court. You know what I'm saying? So you got to tap in the roll. You know what I'm saying? So next one on the list, this one is wild. Basketball. 19 came out in 1998. It's a serious movie now, serious. And they put money behind this, you know what I'm saying? Stars Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Dylan Barker, Yasmin Bleeth, Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg, Ernest Bargrain, Robert Vaughn, Trevor Einhorn, Bob Costas, Al Michaels, Robert Stack, Reggie Jackson, Pat O'Brien, Jim Lampley, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, this movie is a cross between basketball and baseball. And you got to see the rest of the movie. That's the premise, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, next one on the list, last one is Crossover. 2006 stars Anthony Mackie, Wesley Jonathan, Elisa Tears, Philip Champion, Wayne Brady, Eva Marcel, Little JJ, Christian Wilson, Alan Rain, Marcellus Therford, William L. Johnson, Alan Cunningham, Shelley Bone, Michael Bivens, Michael Kimbrough, Nicholas Harvell, Gavin J. Burkham, and Ella Braden. Now this movie, the only bad part about it for me was the basketball scenes with my top tier Juilliard graduate actor Anthony Mackie, and it just wasn't hitting. The crossovers weren't really hitting. The play calls wasn't hitting. You know what I'm saying? The actual basketball play was not good. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this movie's on the list. You know what I'm saying? So my worst sports movies are Rollerball, Basketball, and Crossover. So y'all gotta check these movies out. Tell me if they were worst movies or not. You know what I'm saying? So give me your opinion.
I don't think y'all understand how egregious crossover, like, really trying to convince me. And shout out to Anthony Mack.
Top tier actor, you know what I'm saying? He Juilliard grad and all that, but that was not it.
That was the most out of pocket basketball portrayal of skill I've ever seen. There's no way. And he came through with all the tropes: headband, wristband, wife beater, long shorts, and he's giving work. No way. Like, yo, the most like, unbelievably most terrible basketball skills I've ever seen on somebody that's supposed to be nice in a movie is crossover. So you mean to tell me that Anthony Mackie beats prime, prime hot sauce? Prime? Nah, nah, but make sure you tap into that movie though. Tap into that movie. Those are some great bad sports movies when it comes to the sport aspect. You hit the net, you hit it right on the head.
What better sport than that?
Is wild. They said, this is what I felt about Anthony Mackie playing Tupac. Chill, chill, Missy, chill, chill, chill. Yeah, that Tupac depiction wasn't. It's chill. Don't, like, Anthony Mackie is a terrific actor, but bro, as the basketball player, takes the cake over the Tupac role. I'm telling
It was a better depiction of Tupac than this one. Son.
you. Yes,
I'm
yes,
sorry, you gotta see crossover because it's the
yes.
basketball. They should have just had somebody else and then, you know what I'm saying, CGI his face or something. Because the actual scenes of him playing ball was like, yo, come on. After you did 8 Mile, they got you doing this?
Papa Doc, you got Papa Doc out there looking like that. That, nah, yo, nah,
Your private school, remember that.
nah, nah, nah,
That's not private school basketball lesson, my boy.
nah. And he was
I know
getting
Cranbridge taught better than that.
he was getting off the transit bus, hustling from hood to hood. You know how trash these dudes had to be for him to come through the hood and just scrape a 500 done, get back on the bus and like, nah, yo, nasty work, nasty work. But make sure y'all tap into those movies. Those are great movies for the different segment that we spoke about. So make sure y'all tap into those. All right, y'all. Moving on to our must hear music. Y'all already know how I do. I don't care. I give y'all a different type of vibration, whether it's hip hop or whether it's R&B. Tonight, I'm gonna give y'all some R&B, some classic R&B, some of that '90s fire R&B. Make sure y'all tap into the artist Tony Thompson. Y'all may have heard of him. He was the lead singer from the group High Five. He had a solo album, which was pretty tough. Again, his name is Tony Thompson. Put these three songs on your playlist by Tony Thompson. Number one, I Know. Number two, I Want to Love You Like That. Number three, Break It Down. So again, number one, I Know. Number two, I Want to Love You Like That. And number three, Break It Down. Put these songs on your playlist. I'm telling you, this is '90s classic R&B with that hip hop in it, that sauce. Make sure y'all tap in. It's a good time. Make sure y'all tap in. Shout out to Vic in the building. Shout out to Big and Stupid. I'm here for the backdoor special. Big and Stupid. All right, man. Moving on to our must read books. Must read books. You want to start this one off?
Let's read books. Is Black People Are Indigenous to the Americas, a research material for the inquisitive by Kimberly R. Norton. So it's a very quick read, but why I mentioned this book is because of the thorough research that this author has done, and her footnotes are impeccable. So when you read this quick read, she gives footnotes and citations of other research that she's done that gives her credibility to her statement. So it's chock full of other books and other researchers and other authors and other um, paleontologists, archaeologists, historians, this, that, and the third, and they all have the same. Um, they all come to the same conclusion. So, Black people are the indigenous to the Americas. Research material for the inquisitive. Once again, by Kimberly R. Norton.
Sure y'all tap in and check that book out. Make sure y'all tap in. My must read book, fire book, and if you is it whatever side you on that side, but have logic and have reason to being on your side. So this must read book for me is Flat Earth: How Science Replaced God. Again, Flat Earth: How Science Replaced God and Deceived the Whole World. This book is by uh, Caspinian Surgenson. Caspinian Surgenson. So make sure y'all tap in again. Flat Earth: How Science Replaced God and Deceived the Whole World. Make sure y'all tap in. It's a great read. Whatever side of the coin you on, whatever side of the coin you on, reading is fundamental. Expand your mind. There's possibilities. So is it? But the take on the book in itself is fire, and I just love the way how the author laid things out. So make sure y'all tap in to this book. You got cologne for us?
Cologne for y'all. Y'all look good. Y'all feel good. Y'all smell good. Y'all gonna do good. So this week is called Grooming Lounge. Fragrance is called Your Soul Money. You know what I'm saying? We need I say more. You gotta get this fragrance. You gotta get this brand. Once again, it's called Grooming Lounge, Your Soul Money. And you know what I'm saying? It's gonna give you good vibrations. So tap into that.
Sure y'all get that smell good. The whole purpose is to smell good, feel good, and get good. Get that woman, under the tuck, have a good time. Y'all go boogie, shake it up, get on your freaky time. Whatever your freak is, whatever your freak is, do your thing, but the whole goal is to get a lady. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my bro getting fire cologne. All right, y'all, moving on. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, Button Snaps. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Speaking of Uncle Luke says 95% of his kids don't call him on Father's Day after spending over $3 million in child support throughout the years. What do you think about?
You know what I'm saying? Something small, but it's never that. So it's just with uh with Uncle Luke's situation is just, again, like I said, more evidence of the quote unquote black man not being appreciative in society or in his own home.
Money or they don't respect time. Or you could be away from them and they still feel the same type of way. Or you could be away from them and they'll be a better kid just because they always felt like they had a void and they always felt like they had to be at their best. They had their parents in their life. It's so case by case. So the fact that he has several children and he doesn't even get the call for Father's Day is very telling because not on him, but it's telling just on the fact of parenthood. Some people may say, and especially when it comes to men, it's like, oh yeah, he paid all this money in child support. Most people will automatically think, well, money doesn't take care of everything. When actually money is a tool. Money is not everything, but money is a tool that those kids needed to live their lifestyle. Without his contribution, they wouldn't be able to do what he does. So he couldn't spend all the time with them in the world. He had to go out and work. And then if he did have the time to spend with them, let's say him and his, child's mother, they was at odds and that becomes a thing and all the kid knows is that they didn't spend time with their parent. So at the end of the day, this is so nuance based, but we got to stop automatically saying, well, money is not everything. Well, money is everything to the person who's trying to get money from you. Because without that, they're not able to do what they need to do with your child. So it is a determining factor, even though money is a tool. So we got to stop throwing out these tropes that that's not a factor, right? And then there's another trope in the chat that they mentioned on it, which is also another thing too, where they say, the parent could definitely be affecting the child mentally for them not to be able to communicate with their dad or vice versa, right? Which can very well be the defining factor, right? But at what point do kids gain some ownership of it? At one point do grown kids, because this children is grown, at one point, do kids as grown adults, even though they heard this all their life, you're not really curious to know what your father's about? Even if the shoe was on the other foot, let's say your dad raised you and your mom didn't ever, y'all don't communicate. You're not the least bit curious just to see what your mom is about without hearing, the other person's point of view. So at what point do the kids become culpable and not hold the communication? Because it's always and forever going to be on the parents' fault. What if that parent try to reach out to them and the kid is like, "Yeah, I'm not picking up the phone." So at what point do grown kids become culpable for maintaining a relationship with their parent? You're an adult. You don't need your mom to tell you to call me. You could call me on your own. At what age do you really need your mother to tell you to call your parent? I was calling both my parents, whether they was with me or not. So I didn't need nobody to tell me, yo, did you call your mother today? Did you call your dad today? And I'm calling them. Whoever I'm with, I'm calling other. Just to say what up. So at what point do grown kids have some sort of culpability in not being able to communicate with their parents? And it just seemed like men in particular, we're only valued in this society when we're doing something, when it's transitional. And our love is not transitional. You come from us. Our kids come from the men. You come from these balls. You come straight from the sack. Your mother is the carrier. So the child is half and half as far as we need you to carry and we need to get these things off up in you. But that's every bit of my child as is yours. So there has to be some sort of change moving forward. But at what point do the kids have some sort of responsibility too? Because it can't always be on dad. It can't always be on mom if she's not the parent that is growing up with the child. I mean, do that make sense?
the way their mother showed them how to do it. So sometimes you need both aspects. You need both aspects to have a better understanding of problem solving, or just have a better understanding on various amounts of situations that you're going to go through your life. So just only having one aspect, and then they coddle and they uplift that one side by giving all these programs, giving all this upliftment, and all these step ladders for before you even hit the ground. And it's just, I feel like it keeps perpetuating the same bad behavior, because you're not getting no new results from it. You're getting the same old results, and no new results and the same consequences. So it's time to switch it up.
And a quick shout out to both my parents. I mean, may they souls continue to rest in peace. They was amazing people, but they was better grandparents than they were parents. But I love my parents, and still in my eyes, they did no wrong. Whatever wrong that they've done, I forgave them 10 times over, because without them, I wouldn't be here. I didn't ask to be here, but I'm here. And because I'm here, I feel like they try to love on me as much as possible, at least in my understanding, right? Regardless on how I feel certain things ended a certain way, it was like, yo, that was real whack and it was weird. It was like those are still my parents. Me and my dad relationship was more like big brother, little brother. Me and my mom was like close. You know what I'm saying? So, but they was better grandparents than they were parents to me, which is great because my daughter was able to benefit off of just love and extra attentiveness and all those type of things that come with being a grandparent. So a lot of those things that you just said, me personally, I had to learn on my own as far as problem solving and how to be able to be communicative. But when you're trying to be communicative to somebody that don't want to communicate, what do you do? So at some point, your grown kids have to be held responsible as well. Takes two to talk. So I just thought it was very interesting that this man had paid all this money and he can't get no communication. And when you have women, all not all women, obviously, we're not talking about all women, but there's some women out there that like, well, you can't speak to them unless you pay some money. He paid over $3 million and still couldn't get no conversation. I just think that's crazy. But it's very layered based, and I think it is case by case. Um, but it's just really messed up that as men, when we get older, we feel like we alone in this. Our kids really look out for mom, and that's cool and that's great. But what about pops? You know what I'm saying? Dad need some love too. Need a hug every now and again. Yo, pop, did you eat something? Some type of love. So I'm grateful for the relationship I have with my father because I became his protector. I became somebody that he could depend on in anything that he needed. So, I just wish that we had more of that and more men had that story opposed to Uncle Luke's story. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Tory Lanez, rapper singer Tory Lanez was stabbed 14 times while in prison. What do you think about that?
Reason why he got stabbed up is the important part. If you already been in jail for 2 years, all of a sudden now you get stabbed up. Why? You know what I'm saying? Why? And then you're a celebrity, so there's always protection around celebrities. You're not in Gen Pop, you're not in none of these places. You know what I'm saying? You have security and all that. So again, why did you get stabbed and why now? That's really more so the question. So when people start looking into that, you know what I'm saying, they'll start to figure out. But that whole situation with Tory Lanez has always been a conundrum, and throughout the whole case and all that, it just, you know what I'm saying, just doesn't make any sense. But focusing on the prison aspect, Bureau of Prisons have to be called out. LA County Sheriff's Department have to be called out. The state governor of California has to be called out because they control all these institutions. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody as Tory Lanez, high profile case and all that to get stabbed like that, somebody dropped the ball, somebody looked the other way, somebody who was supposed to be on their shift miraculously wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a highly scrutinized investigation as to how that happened. I'm saying we watch too many shows to not know how it happened. Come on, from Power to Mayor of Kingstown, The Wire, yeah, countless shows. It's nothing but a phone call. You know what I'm saying? To get it going. So too many people drop the ball, and for that to happen to somebody like that, has to be a wild, in-depth investigation. But we're asking the FBI to do the investigation. You know what I'm saying? We're asking them to do the investigation. Like they the one that put them in there. So who's gonna do the investigation?
Right. Right.
So there's that aspect. But it's crazy that he had to go through all of that. And this is why I say again, black men are not appreciated in society. Like it's just so easy to just put it on the black man. It's just so easy. Like the society makes it so easy. And even though you have so much evidence to showcase somebody didn't even do it, but because it's a black man, it don't even matter. It just falls so easily. You know what I'm saying, to just make the storyline stick, even though the evidence doesn't support the storyline. But they're gonna make the storyline stick because you read it on TMZ, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate he had to go through that. I hope he really survives, because when he really comes out and he can tell what really happened, that's when the real reason why he got stabbed now is going to come out. And I think that's why it happened to him the way it happened, because of what's going to come out eventually.
You know, you know, artists, do like video stuff or whatever, or some sort of special. And she had made mention that he did not really do it, that she lied, and then he was supposed to be released along with him and the Menendez brothers. And November came, went, no release, no nothing. Same thing with the Menendez brothers. And he's still in jail, and this ended up happening. Now, the rumor that's been swinging around, pause, that he got stabbed up by one of the Mexican mafia. And the reason being that was a separate issue because supposedly Tory Lanez spoke freshly to his lady during some sort of visit or something like that. Now, is that story true? We don't know to be true. Is it likely? I don't know. We don't know because it hasn't been confirmed for real, and nobody speaking it. All the information is kind of like been tight, tight to the vest, and they still doing their so-called investigation. So, and that's supposedly the reason why that was greenlit, that he would undergo something like that. 14 times they was trying to murder this kid. Nobody stabbed you 14 times in hopings that you're walking away. They said his whole lungs collapsed and all that type of stuff. So they said he is alert, but he's not out of the woods. So I pray for his recovery, a speedy recovery at that, and for everything that he's gone through, and for the evidence being the evidence is really like, damn. I hope if and when he gets out, he attaches some damages when he gets out. I almost lost my life in here. So, I mean, this is crazy, man. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. An Amazon driver poops and pees in front of at least two LA homes on Mother's Day on the ring cam. What do you think about that?
So much that you don't even got time to use the actual bathroom. You gotta use it on the fly as you delivering.
No, it was a lady. It was a lady.
eh, Employee, worker, you know what I'm saying? You on the fly delivering boxes that you can't stop by and use an actual toilet, an actual bathroom. You gotta do it on somebody's yard, or I don't know how you release yourself, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that you got caught on the ring cam is just egregious work, and it's just bad. It's a bad look. You know what I'm saying? It's just you know what I'm saying? It's just a bad look. Like, what can we say about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just crazy. Excruciating. That's wild.
definitely deliberate because she was in front of the door or in front of the camera and she looked back at the camera, ass out, squat, and you know, and that's how she was giving it up. So, which is it's extremely nasty. I'm just saying, like, just on the general aspect, I don't know, maybe it's just me. How do you wipe your ass after that? Like you pooping and moving, like so you poop, no ass wipe, so you just got doodle drawers all walking back to the van. You're gonna sit in the squash and all that, and that's how you moving and grooving. Like I don't understand. I just don't understand the what they call that, the logistics of that in your drawers. States. Oh, you thought she pulled the smoky?
Like, slide me them newspapers over there. Not, I'm gonna plan to hit 235 Runction Boulevard, you know what I'm saying, and hit their spot. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hit the Jasper's spot, you know what I'm saying? On the drive-by.
Look right at the camera as you're doing it, like I was
237 Jasper Avenue, you know what I'm saying? Like they doing drive-bys over there, you heard?
that's wild. Yeah, this is extremely nasty. I mean, again, but maybe it's just me. If my drawers ain't right, I can't function. You see what I'm saying? Like, so how do you do that and not wipe yourself? And you just walking around with the squiddly butt, the squash, the funk, all that one time, all in your uniform. That's just. And then, mind you, if you driving the Amazon bus, somebody else or after your shift got to sit in your squash. Like that's wild, bro. Like, damn. What are we coming to as a society? All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Singer and actress Halle Bailey claims former boyfriend DDG attacked her multiple times and gets restraining order against him. But there's multiple videos of her admitting that she's always been the problem in her relationships. What do you think about that?
Even matter if they got video evidence of her saying that. They still gonna award her with the restraining order. Why? Because it's a black man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter. How she knows she could do it? Because she gonna get away with it. Point blank period. She put on them Disney crying tears. What judge ain't gonna um award her with the restraining order? You know what I'm saying? All she gotta do is throw on some tears and say he hit me, this, that, and the third, and that's it. You cooked after that. And it's unfortunate because that's another example of the color of law being used against you. You know what I'm saying? You got tricked out your spot. Now they're using color of law, black codes on you because you claim to a fake title that has no legal standing, so they can do whatever they want to you. They can use any representative that they want to fuck you over. It could be your baby moms. It could be the prosecutor of fucking LA County. It could be the damn dude that's crossing the street and feel like he could sue you. Anybody. You got no protection out here because you fight for civil rights when you needed human rights. You don't need civil rights. You need human rights. They're not treating you like a human being. They told you 3/5. So that's why they can use color law on you, and this is why they can do whatever they want. Black woman, Asian woman, black, white man, it doesn't matter. You're always going to get fucked at the end of the day because you under color of law with no legal protection. So,
My bad, guy.
so the only other avenue for you is understand the game that's being played against you. It's a game being played against you, and they're using all the playing cards on you. They want to use the race card, they're going to do it. They want to use this card, they're going to do it. But remember, you got the access to the same game as well too. So it's up to you to put you in the right position to always win. But we don't. They never show those wins. So we need more of those.
Very interesting after their breakup that he went on immediate defense of her. Like, yo, I still love her. We not together. We might be together sometime in the future, but I'm working on me. She working on her. I'm gonna be a great dad. She's gonna be a great mom. Then you seen them together. They throw their son's party, the family together, all well and all well. She goes outside of the country. She could, bring her son where she wants to. But with him, she wants restrictions. So now she want him to have supervised visits with his son, and can't take the son outside of certain limits, and restrict his hours to 6 hour intervals of having his son. She feels like he's going to kidnap the son, and it's like I'm pretty sure DDG does well financially, and I'm pretty sure he has property that he's not going to leave the country and not come back. Like his family is all in one spot. Like it just doesn't. The reasoning just doesn't make sense. But what made sense is the fact that now they're talking about custody battle. And for those who don't know, now when you start engaging in custody talk, then it's customary to get restraining orders against each party because there's a battle now. There's no longer friendly communication. It's like, hey, I got a couple hours. I could turn these couple hours into 2 days. Can I get my son for the next 2 days? Cool. And which is crazy where some women really believe that their child is theirs. These are not your kids. These are our kids. That kid came out of my nuts. Without that, you wouldn't have that child. You carried. So this is ours. We're sharing. We got in the bed, we got it popping, and we produced the child together. So it's so weird that some women do all these manipulation tactics for what? When at the end of the day, when you're doing this, the only person that's really hurting is the child. You're robbing the love and the joy that the father can bring to his child, and vice versa if that's the case, if a father's keeping his mom away for just silly reasons. But it's just so according to the script and according to the book, where it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have discourse, so I'm gonna keep our child away from you, and I'm gonna use the law to do it. And mind you, which is interesting, uh DDG's brother is also having an issue with his daughter's mom, that she wants to move out of the state and take their son with them. But it was interesting because they supposedly don't speak to their baby's mothers. They use their mom to do the communicating with their ex ladies. So I also find that to be interesting as well. So to have all this discourse over children y'all produce together, y'all only robbing the child of that love, and you're gonna make the child feel like they gotta choose. I'm just telling y'all, like it's some women out there has to stop doing that, especially with fathers that want to be there. And it's just so quite natural. Most guys that really want to be there, the mom always try to. Some moms make it extremely difficult. If a guy don't want no parts of that child, women be beating his door down. Yo, you gonna take this kid? I don't want that kid. F that child. But the fathers that really want to be there, yeah, nah, hey, this child ain't gonna love you more than me. So some of y'all women need to stop. Some of y'all need to stop. And in this case, man, I gotta side with DDG on this. Cause all you're trying to do is be a dad at this point. Every video I've seen him with his son lights up when he spend time with him. Like they want that connection. He wants to connect with his son. That's his legacy. Like, what are we talking about? That's his legacy. I'm pretty sure his son has his last name. A mom's love is important, but also a dad love is important and it's necessary. Crazy. Anything else you want to add to this before we move on?
she feels like he's gonna take him away, uh, kidnap him. How are you bringing feelings into a court of law? Where is the evidence of you having these feelings? Did he ever say something like he's gonna take the kid, this, that, and the third? Did he ever showcase that aspect, not picking up the phone whenever you call when he has his son with him? But you're basing it on feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So just because of that and the incentivization of going that route, using the system to put all these chokeholds in place for the father. It's like they're always gonna be incentivized, and she doesn't even need it. So that goes to show you incentivized regardless if you a top tier woman or not. You still gonna get your leeway.
He has mentioned on going outside of the country for vacation. Vacation. He wants to take his son on vacation just like you want to take your son on vacation. She said on numerous occasions she can't breathe without her son being in the room. Well, you're gonna learn how to take some. You're gonna learn how to breathe because you're being ridiculous. You're gonna have to learn how to breathe without your son for a week or 2 weeks. Like at what point when he gets older, he gonna tell you, "Y'all want to go live with my pops." I went from living with my mom to living with my dad. And I had to move in with my father because my mother couldn't control me after a certain point. So my mother was like, "Yo, you gonna move in with your dad." And when I moved in with my dad, my mom was like, "So when you moving back in?" I was like, "Yeah, that's not happening." But me and my mom still remain close. But you get the point that I'm making. It's like kids need the love of both parents. When y'all no longer together, y'all still have an obligation to that kid to be able to at least make the best decision for that child. Simple and plain. It is no, yo, you can't see her or you can't see her. Like my mother never, and mind you, my parents was like, sometimes their arguments was crazy. God rest their soul. But my mother never denied access to me or my brother. Never, not once. Not once. She like, yeah, go over there to your pops. You know what I'm saying? Go see that man. Go see Mr. Johnson. You know what I'm saying? I need a break anyway. You know what I'm saying? This weekend ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Like go over there. So I just don't understand why some women still try to play that same playbook. But you did hit some great points on being backed up by the law. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Michael Jordan is returning to the NBA in forms of announcing. He's going to be doing some announcing work. At I believe it's about 25 games next year, if I'm not mistaken. But outside of the amount of games, he's going to be back. Calling some of the games on an NBA level. What do you think about that?
For NBA, I think that's high time he got somewhere and spoke basketball and really like announced some games. I think it'll be lit. So I'm all for it.
I think his personality is going to be fitting, but I know he going to do some sneak dissing because people still wear Jordans, and there's players that still wear Jordans. And if he's calling the game and you come down, shake and bake, pull up, air ball, and I know Jordan personality, he probably say something slick like, "Yo, it wasn't the shoes. It's definitely not the shoes." You know what I'm saying? Like I could see him throwing like them little subtle jokes in there, kind of being like a little jerk or whatever. That seems like his personality. So I think it's great for basketball. I'm glad he's no longer in the capacity of picking talent because he didn't know how to pick no talent based on his record of him owning a team. But he knows basketball. He knows what he's looking at in the sense of the game aspect. He will know how to call it. And, a guy like Jordan, who's a pillar of basketball in a sense globally, for the NBA would be great, in my opinion. So shout out to MJ. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. The Diddy trial is on the way. I believe this is the third day of the Diddy trial or the fourth day of the Diddy trial, and it's explosive. I had TikTok in an uproar based on the comments I had made on TikTok about Cassie. Um, What do you think of the trial so far?
I'm just waiting for whatever more evidence they actually really have. Saying these stories don't prove any evidence of anything as of yet. It's still early on, so they can have a whole bunch more evidence now. Other witnesses that can corroborate real, actual quote unquote crimes.
What to me, what is proving the crime that is proven to me is the domestic violence. But he didn't get arrested for domestic violence. He's getting arrested for racketeering and all the sex stuff, right? For me, all they spoke about so far, in my eyes, is the fact that there was abuse in their relationship, that he was the person abusing her physically. We've seen the video, and then on top of that, he's a freaky boy. Those are things we already knew. We knew he was a freaky boy based on him being Diddy. Did we know this type of level of freak? No. Did we know that he abused Cassie? Yes, because the video had dropped months ago of him in a hotel and they had the exchange, and it was a very disgusting video. There's no way that you any guy could defend what he did physically to her. But at the end of the day, where's the crimes of what y'all saying that he did based on the which I have on the docket? I haven't seen it yet. So these cross examinations, people got to realize when witnesses are being introduced and there's questions being asked, the defense has that when you open that door, they're going to ask you a question in defense of that, and they're going to tear her apart. And they've been doing a great job in the last 3 days of killing their case based on these particular questions that they're asking them. So I'm waiting for like the big swings that these criminal charges are what it's supposed to be. Um, Also, in my personal opinion, and this is what TikTok got on me about, and the video went viral because I had a whole bunch of like the comments was crazy, and it was weird that some of the women that disagree with me is like, how can you argue with the man about man's nature? And that's one. The other woman that did agree with me. So basically, what I said was is that I feel like Cassie' husband is hustling because there's no way a man would be with a woman after she didn't had a whole lot of lemonade juice. She was into the lemonade juice. She had lemonade stands all over the place, from here to Abika to other places where they was having the parties, and there was a whole lot of lemonade juice. So much to the point where she had the urinary the urine tract disease or whatever, the urinary tract disease or whatever. She's had it so high at a point where the regular treatment was no longer viable for her. She had to take opioids to get through the pain of those urinary tract diseases. That's how much lemonade juice was inside her. You know what I'm saying? Because they going crazy on her body. If they having parties for 91 hours, they got IVs and all types of stuff to keep them up to get it popping. That's a whole lot of urine. That's a whole lot of lemonade juice. So what man is gonna be like, based on your past, I'm gonna clean you up, I'm gonna wife you up, and I'm gonna take you serious. That man is hustling. So a lot of the women say, well, he got 3 kids with her. What do you mean? That ain't nothing but securing the bag. Being that they have children, all he's doing is walking away with a bigger bag. Being that she's the one that he confided in because he became her personal trainer, and that's how they met and this, that, and the third. So he knows everything about her. So now when he leaves, ain't no judge in the world that's going to take those kids away from him because he like, yo, she's still mentally unstable from all the things that was going on. Based in some of the text messages that Diddy and her communicated, let me pull this up. This was crazy. So even when he was broken up on August 5th, 2009, this is from Cassie to Sean Combs. I'm always ready to do a freak off. 2 days later, Diddy says to Cassie, "I can't wait to watch you. I want you to I want you to get real hot." He comment again. She comments, "Me too. I just want to be uncontrollable." These are from her. Again, it makes me happy. It makes me so happy that you would fly to Atlanta just to see me. I'm a very lucky man. She says, "I'm a very lucky woman. I miss you so much. I'll fly wherever you need me whenever. I love you so much. It consumes my life." This is what she says to him. And this is April 4th, 2010. So again, what man is really going to build with a woman that had all this type of trauma to her? Straight up. And then there's people on TikTok going, "Well, he's a real man. He's mature." Ladies, 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 don't let don't let some of these dudes con you. That's the con. Every man don't have what every other man have, and what that means is every man gets women differently. Some men use their looks, some men use their money, some men use their power, some men use their sexual prowess, some men use dirty macking. But for those who don't know what dirty macking is, means that guys who speak bad on other guys to make themselves look good, or a combination of both, or a combination of this, or a combination of that. $30 million is a hell of a long con and worth the con to play. So that's what I believe. So again, I don't feel like she's a victim, so to speak, because there's reports on her that she was also supposedly one of the people that physically abused Kim Porter, and that was said by reliable sources from the bad boy camp, which came from Kalinga. Kalinga used to be in Dirty Money, and her and Cassie was once best friends at one point in time. So I mean, at the end of the day, all we learned is that Diddy's a freaky boy. He did abuse Cassie. How many times we don't know, but it seems like that was a part of their relationship, and that's all we learned. So where's the crime that y'all have him up here for? So they're doing a great job, but again, they're not speaking of the RICO. So I just don't see it. Anything else you want to add?
Uh, um, Participants coming in and out the hotel, because y'all have video surveillance of them coming out the hotel, going to the lobby, leaving the lobby, coming back into the hotel from the lobby, going up the elevator and down the hallway into their specific room, and they're already checked in by one of their managers, and you know who's there, and everybody works at a hotel, talks to everybody else, so they know what's going down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how is it? It's only Diddy. Again, it's easy to just blame the black man, but it's a whole bunch of organizations a part of this whole shit. But it's just easy to blame Diddy. You know what I'm saying? It's just much easier. What about these other organizations? Like the hotel had this shit for how long? So they've been knew this. There's probably multitude of other video surveillance from other hotels from other places as well too. So it's like, no, hotel managers not getting subpoenaed. They're not coming up and saying their piece of what's going on, whether if they had something to say or not. They had access to all the video surveillance because that's by their company policy. So how are we not having these companies being subpoenaed to testify? I'm just saying.
Another reason why I don't necessarily see her as a victim, she chose to stay. Regardless, I don't care when they met. If they met when she was 19 and he was a grown man, they said, "Well, that's manipulation." I mean, at the end of the day, you have the power to leave at some point. It was also that lifestyle. The lifestyle was also alluring to her. Mind you, nobody talks about Ryan Leslie. Ryan Leslie was with her prior to Diddy. And supposedly she started dating Ryan Leslie at 16. So again, this is not about defending Diddy. This is about making something make sense. So that's why, for me, I don't necessarily see her as a victim. Did she go through something that was traumatizing? Yes. Did she go through a physical abuse? Yes. But when somebody choose to stay, they choose it after a certain time. And it's so weird that y'all don't have the same type of compassion for Kanye as y'all do for Miss Cassie. Y'all the same thing with Kanye when he was doing what he was doing to his cousin. Y'all saying, yo, at some point, like, when do you stop doing that, bro? At one point, when do you say no? But Cassidy is older than Kanye, but it's cool though, right? Because Cassie, I mean, because Kanye was doing it with somebody around his age or a little older than him. That don't make any sense. So again, I don't completely see her as a victim because there's too many holes in the things that she had going on, and she knew when to strike and how to strike when it comes to suing him and how to get to that money. And he paid her quick, trying to throw it away, but that payment opened up a whole other door that I'm pretty sure he wished he never paid her from the very beginning. Again, this is not defending him. This is making the story make sense. People take their feelings, but I feel that because she was abused, that this happened instead of what the reality of what actually happened. All things that was said about him can be true. He could have been manipulative, but at what point do you leave? At what point? At 25, so he still had that type of hold when she's 25. Or, oh, but you don't understand how manipulation works. It's forever. When you don't like something, you change behavior. Period. Point blank. At what point do we start taking accountability for our own actions? 19, so what? At 19 years old, I before I was 19 years old, I had a whole child. So because I had a whole child at 18, so I get to avoid my responsibility. They're like, yo, but I'm a young kid. Like, I shouldn't have to raise her. Shouldn't have to raise my daughter. I'm a young kid. I'm allowed to, be out here and be wild and all this, that, and the third. No, the society didn't look at me like that. All right, you man enough to get down and get busy, then you man enough to take care of this kid. At what point do we stop doing, like, picking and choosing on who can be accountable, who can't be accountable? She's accountable for her own actions. So I do not see her as a victim completely. She was a victim of that moment of their abuse. Yes, that was nasty work. That was nasty work. Moving on. Moving on. All right, y'all. Next hot topic. It's been revealed that over 18,000 people have HIV in the area of Philadelphia. What do you think about that?
Knowledge, having that crucial knowledge, it's a detriment to you and the people you involve yourself in. So it's another example of like this how important being safe is. Like in this day and age, you gotta be safe out here.
wear it. See what I'm saying? That's the difference. When somebody don't ask you to wear it, they like, oh, we out here, baby. Nah, I'm gonna strap him up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just give me a quick second. I'm gonna strap him up. Then I'm gonna go on the game. So the lackadaisical nature of protecting ourselves in this culture of sex is the biggest reason why this is happening. The biggest reason why. I mean, like for real. How many people at a percentage talk to people right before they have sex? Meaning like, yo, what was like what was the last time you was tested? You know what I'm saying? Like a woman's horny, a man's horny, and y'all kissing, y'all rubbing, y'all patting and hugging and all that other stuff. When's the last time a whole conversation broke out right before sex? It's very unlikely. So because of these practices, y'all don't even have that conversation, just a normal conversation, before y'all get to have the situation to create to have sex. So that miscommunication is making it even worse that where these numbers is going higher and higher and through the roof. Do you think the government will finally make a concession and bring out cures to lower the number, or are they just going to say the hell with it? Because I know for a fact that the government has cures to a lot of these sexual diseases, but of course, the money is not in the cure; the money is in the medicine. What do you think that they will say? You know what? Let's get these people right.
Access to basic knowledge, but you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's like, when are you gonna hold yourself accountable? You have access to the library, you have access to chat GBT, you have all these things to nobody's putting you on, put yourself on. It's just too much knowledge out here, not for you, not to know nothing. You could YouTube anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the fact of the matter, if you don't put yourself on, knowing society is not gonna put you on, it's like, whose fault is it really? Like, I can understand society's not giving you access to anything, then it would make sense. But you have access to a lot of information. So when is it going to be on the first of all to accept accountability first? Because you here first, and you have access to a whole bunch of stuff. It's 2025 going on 2030. Like, you know what I'm saying? You on the iPhone 16. Like, let's stop playing games. You know what I'm saying?
I think it comes in waves. I think is one aspect of it that's preventative, and there's other aspects of it for those outliers that it should be curable, because we in a day and age right now where one out of two adults has uh not AIDS, but they have damn, I can't think of the damn word, herpes. One out of two adults has herpes. That's the country that we live in. So at this particular point in time, preventative measures, what bro man said, that's passe. You know what I'm saying? That's passe. We using molasses now. So at what point do the preventative measures, because it's not outlasting, the preventative measures is not the thing that's carrying us through. So there has to be a point where there has to be curable things that can change this, because one out of two adults carry herpes, and some people will never know that they even have it until they have it. So I mean, brothers pick up a book and read and all that is preventative measures, but at what point? Because we passed it. It's not like, it's not like we're talking about. 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20, 1 out of 15. We're talking 1 out of 2. And that's just for herpes. So like, we didn't even talk about chlamydia or gonorrhea or all those other things. But those things are curable. But again, these are still sexually transmitted diseases. So now what is the Department of Health going to do?
For Department of Health to save us, y'all bugging. Because if if we just said it's sexually transmitted diseases, so that means human beings have been having sex since the beginning of time. So what did they do when there was no Planned Parenthood? What did they do when there was no General Hospital? You know what I'm saying? So what did they do then? Because I'm pretty sure they was doing all types of sexual activity. You know what I'm saying? If we talking about from the beginning of time of sex, people have been having sex for a very long time. For us to be here, you have to have your grandparents and your great grandparents and their great grandparents had to have sex. So in that society, there was probably outliers and people doing other shit that wasn't supposed to do. And then when you mess around with them people and got caught something, how did they cure it? If chlamydia is curable and there was no Planned Parenthood, how did they cure it back in the day? I'm pretty sure there was a root, a tea, something that they grew. You had to boil it, drink it for a week, stay away from people, this, that, and the third. But now they codified that, got the root of the medicine that actually cures it. Now they create a placebo, and now they just give you doses of it. So you gotta keep coming back to them rather than just cure the whole thing. So I'm just saying, if sex has been the reason why these diseases passes through one human to the other, so that means sex has been around for a very long time. So they had to have cures for these things. Because if you think niggas haven't been playing with men, but you bugging. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing that for a long time. So what happens when somebody does that and then they go back home, bring it to their wife, and she didn't know? What happens then? Because if that was the case, there would be so many people, they'd pull up their bones like, damn, this nigga had this and this, that, and the third, because it would still be in their bodies, right? I'm just saying.
I mean, at this point, we need to do something. We can't not hold people accountable that hold strings to the purse. It's like, yo, it got to be something that people can do to get from this. Because again, if 1 out of 2 have herpes, imagine what else that they have or don't know that they have that they carry. So it has to be something. I'm just not a person where there's not nothing. When you have scientists, you have doctors, holistic doctors that say that they got proven cures and that they've cured people based on their research and their knowledge, and they have proof. And people gatekeep them and call them crazy. So uh, that's wild. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. The new Ironheart new trailer just dropped, produced by Ryan Coogler. What do you think about that?
As far as a comic book fan, I don't really care for Ironheart, but because it's Ryan Coogler directing it, I'm gonna tap in. But for comic book and Marvel purposes, I never cared for the character. But it's a Ryan Coogler aspect film and his creative outlook and take on it. So that's the only reason I'm tapping in.
I think I'm tapping in. I like the actress that they picked. She's like really good. I like her energy. I like what she brings to the character. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of like you in a sense where I ain't never cared for no Ironheart. Like, yo, I'm gonna buy this magazine because Ironheart. I can't wait to Ironheart doing this episode or this comic portion of it. But the Ryan Coogler factor, obviously, the Marvel factor. So I think it's going to be a good movie. The trailer was fire, and of course they're going to throw a nugget or a tidbit in this to for a bigger movie, and it's probably going to go to the next Black Panther movie that Ryan Coogler is already working on as well. And I believe Denzel Washington is set to be one of the characters in there. So I'm pretty sure they're going to use some of that aspect of the Black Panther 2 to lead into Black Panther 3. So I think that's going to be on fire. I love the trailer. I'm not going to lie. So I think it's going to be fire, me personally, and I can't wait to see it. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. CEO of LinkedIn says that there will be no more 9 to 5s by the year 2034. What do you think about that?
Tricking y'all out your spot. You know what I'm saying? They just getting ready for that countdown. So they just letting you know that that's what they're gonna do. Whether you care for it or not, it doesn't matter. They told you 2034, no more 9 to 5. Now what you gonna do? So you know what I'm saying? What we gonna do then? So back to what you said, we gotta figure it out.
If we don't figure this out in all aspects, we're going to be in a complete system where we're doomed. If people don't like to work 9 to 5s now, can you imagine when they say there's no more 9 to 5s? So that means whatever job that's available for you to work, that's the job you need to have. And I'm pretty sure, and I've heard this, and I believe this to be true because we also seen it in movies prior to, where a lot of these jobs is going to start attaching home placement. So it's like, okay, if you work 30 hours a week, because there's going to be no more 40-hour weeks. So if you work 30 hours a week at this particular position, you get to live in this apartment or this home. And instead of you making, $40 an hour, you're only going to receive $15 an hour because we're going to take the rest of that and put it into your home and put it into your place that's going to go into the rent that needs to be paid. And I really believe that this is going to happen. We've seen it in the movie Sorry to Bother You, where the when you go into the special room, you take the little cocaine, you turn into a horse, and then like these people sold their homes to work for this glorified company that looked like a Walmart version, and they had to sleep in these bunker style, bunk bed style type of place where they had to leverage their job and their home. So I actually believe if we don't figure this out, when the job market, where the things that we do as a country, we have to turn that into a viable source of income. I like the fact that Trump is doing things where he's incentivizing people to have businesses, but people have to learn how to incentivize themselves and learning what the country need. Yo, the country might need some brick. We might need some wood. Let me learn how to dib and dabble in concrete. Concrete is very expensive. That's a very lucrative business if you learn how to mix and do concrete and lay concrete down. Learn how to build and make cars on our own. So that way, when we start producing our own cars again, that cars will be cheaper, the cost of living will go back down, and your job should no longer be in jeopardy, right? If we make a certain type of car and not the same type of car we've been making. So we have to learn how to make ourselves unexpendable. And I think that's going to be a component in creating jobs that has to go through the people instead of being monopolized by big corporations.
In the gaps in everything. You know what I'm saying? So those areas where people see where they can fill the gaps, and that's where you're going to thrive. That's where you're going to succeed, and that's where you're going to make a living in life because they're forcing you out to make a choice. You know what I'm saying? So they're taking it away from you because we never had the right. We only had privileges. So they showcase that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you don't have no rights because now all of a sudden they could just take this away, take that away, and there's nothing you could do about it. So now it's finding those voids that need to be filled and fill them.
Also, support small businesses, especially when they're great. When there's a small business that is great at what they do, or a service that they provide, uh, let's say they grow their own garden and know how to grow fruit. Go to that local garden or that local produce place and buy directly from them. Start supporting local businesses because that's a part of not being replaced. So we got to start thinking on a different level, y'all, and we can't depend upon these big companies to do and house everything because the more they do it, the less valuable us as humans work in these jobs. We just covered last episode where they just released trucks that are they driveless trucks, and they ran by sensors, and the sensors is wide and long as 4 football fields, so they don't need physical drivers on in these trucks anymore. They just use the sensor and and uh and the camera satellite. So if they're replacing drivers on big rigs, can you imagine what they could do in your corner store or with places people that need jobs? So we got to start thinking on the other side of that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our last hot topic. Three-star tight end Gavin Moeller, 6'6", 250 pound tight end, dual threat tight end, has committed to the University of Colorado over powerhouse universities Notre Dame and LSU. What do you think about that?
That's best for his career. You know what I'm saying? He chose Colorado. It shouldn't be big news because Colorado is just like Alabama or just like, you know what I'm saying, any other school. So this he chose to go to Colorado. So it's like, all right, you feel that Colorado is going to be a better option for you to teach you and mold you and become a better player, and that's popping. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be nothing big about this. It should be just a regular news.
At this point, people are going to argue, well, Colorado was not Alabama in football. Yeah, they haven't won the championships as Alabama have, but Colorado is easily the most relevant school in college football right now, hands down. If you go to Colorado, you're going to get pub. If you're a great player, you're going to get pub. I can't right now, most, not just me, but most people, and I'm a college football fan. Most people can't name 5 players on Alabama right now. And Alabama's a great place to play football. They play in one of the toughest conference in the world. They play in the SEC. So most people can't name 5 players. On Colorado, you can name about 10, 15 guys. Especially last year's team, you can name about 20 guys. At least 7 of them got drafted. So I think this was a good move for him. This is where he wanted to go. But it's just so crazy how the different eras changes everything. When you got Coach Prime, Shador, Travis Hunter is able to go to Colorado and change everything, and it's still lasting. Colorado is a destination place like Alabama, like Miami, like Michigan, like USC. Like it's just crazy. So shout out to Gavin Moeller, and hope you do your thing, man. Congratulations. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. This segment is brought to you by Bravo Section. Make sure you go to bigbravosection.com. Again, bigbravosection.com. You can buy dope photography. If you're in the Miami area, you can book a session with one of the best photographers in the world. If you're not, you can still book that session. They'll come out and take care of your session. Starts at bigbravosection.com. You got anything from the Black's Law Dictionary?
Got a question for the chat before I read from the Black's Law Dictionary. The question is there a separation between church and state? So keep that in mind as I read these definitions. So first word on this list is priest. So a priest is a sacerdotal minister of a church, a person in a second order of the ministry. So sacerdotal meaning they just sacrimony and ceremonies of that nature. You would use a priest. That's all a priest is. Now, next word is a pope. A pope is the bishop of Rome and the supreme head of the Roman Catholic Church. Right. All right. So what does bishop mean? Bishop is an ecclesiastical dignitary, being the chief of the clergy within his diocese, subject to the archbishop of the province in which his diocese is situated. And it's funny enough, the sixth edition does not have archbishop. How ironic. So I had to go look up what does dignitary mean. So dignitary means in canon law, a person holding an ecclesiastical, beneficial, or dignity, which gives him some preeminence above mere priests and canons. This is a class exclusively belonging to bishops, deans, archdeacons, etc. But it now includes all the premeditaries and canons of the church. Right. So words of this week is priest, pope, bishop, and dignitary. So the reason why I had that question in the beginning, is there a separation between church and state? Obviously, there couldn't be a separation between church and state because I found these words in a Black's Law dictionary. So you could also find these words, I'm pretty sure, in a religious dictionary, but it should be only based on religion, right? But why do they have legal definition of these so quote unquote religious positions of quote unquote power? There shouldn't be no legal definitions on them. But because they are, I would pose again, is there a separation between church and state? So um that's my segment for today. If you have any words that you want to have the legal definition of, you can put it in the chat and I'll look it up for next week.
Yeah, fire, y'all. Great job, bro. Shout out to Bones in the building. Shout out to Billy. Shout out to uh S Clip Guy. Shout out to John. Appreciate y'all tapping and hit them likes, hit them 100s in the chat. But dope words again. If you got some serious words for my bro to look up, send them in and he'll look them up, have them ready for the next episode. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Live segment.
Lie.
The Lie Live. So my Keep the Lie Live for this episode is the power of programming. We have to be aware of this. Um, it's so easy the way how programming works because they could change the scope of a neighborhood and make it the craziest neighborhood that you'd have ever heard based on the power of two reports that's made in the neighborhood. So if you have a situation where you just have two neighbors fighting, right? So you have two neighbors fighting, they duke it out. Okay, that's probably nothing big. But now when they report it, it's become like, yo, you had two neighbors fighting. It's a tough neighborhood. Then another incident will happen when you have theft. Then another incident will happen is where you have, a car accident. And all those are reported as incidences, how they report it, how they put it out there. And that could create the narrative that this area is now, a tough area. This area now is like, you have to be on your P's and Q's. So the power of programming to make you believe that this place could be one thing, and based on two reports, it could turn that whole area into a place where you wouldn't even want to visit. That's how we get murder rates and crime rates going up when things like this happen, the way they report it. So now it goes to the algorithm. Now you have people that celebrate death culture. By celebrate deaf culture, you get young kids will be like, let's say for an area, for example, let's say there's an area in Florida, you got young kids in Florida talking about, yeah, y'all better not come out here. Ain't none of y'all Georgia dudes better ever come out here. Y'all stay in Georgia, baby. And then you got the Georgia dudes talking about, yeah, no Florida boys better, they better go to another state. They better not come here. So that creates deaf culture just by having those type of narratives, just by having those few incidents in those particular areas. When those areas, if you actually live there, it's not bad at all. It's just two people that had a situation. You just had a theft. Theft happens in every neighborhood. It happens in every neighborhood, and it doesn't mean that it's indicative of the neighborhood. There's more theft in nice neighborhoods than it is in worse neighborhoods. Believe it or not, you know why? Because it's a nice neighborhood. They are likely to have nicer shit. So you have a lot of theft, right? So, but it's not indicative of the neighborhood because when you go to the neighborhood, it's an affluent neighborhood. Now, some neighborhoods you don't hear these type of things because some of these neighborhoods have their own policing. So they never have to worry about theft. They never have to worry about people coming into the neighborhood and for them not to get some sort of G check. Like, yo, where your pass at? Oh yeah, I'm here to visit. Nah, 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 nah. You got to come up out of here, bro. You don't got the pass, then you can't be up around here, bro. So again, we have to be very aware of programming and narratives, and narratives dictates programming. So be very aware. Be very aware the next time you're on TikTok and them reels go up and them reels go up, and you keep flicking up. Be aware of the narrative that's being told. Be aware of the programming. Same thing with men and women. There's a whole lot of discourse between brothers and sisters right now, where supposedly the brother, I hate saying the word black because we're not 3/5. So the narrative is we don't protect our women, which is bullshit. There's no woman that ever been around me that never felt protected. And I'm pretty sure that's not something that's exclusive to me. I'm pretty sure that it's exclusive to not just guys I know, but the brothers in the culture that's just brothers that protect their shit. So we have to be very conscious of the beast that we're feeding. And we have to speak out against it as well. So ladies, when we speak on topics that don't necessarily highlight y'all, understand it highlights certain ladies. It doesn't highlight every lady. Just like when we talk about certain situations, it doesn't highlight all men. It highlights some men. So, but we have to be aware of narratives, and we have to be aware of the power of programming. They have this thing right now that is becoming into the lexicon of just dealing with the culture, is called black fatigue. And that's actually becoming a thing where people of in the culture and outside of culture is supposedly getting tired of the narratives that is supposed to be of brothers and sisters. And it's a real thing because we see it every day on our social media platforms where people are crashing out, and it's like, yo, there was no reason for you to crash out. So because of that programming, it turns us against each other. Be very cognizant of programming, y'all. So that's my keep the lie alive for this episode. Anything you want to add to that?
Straight and pump drugs in and create the calamities that you're in. So now when you're in a certain neighborhood, let's just say how these other companies make money off it. An insurance company, you put a certain zip code in there, now all of a sudden you gotta pay high interest rate because it's an area where it's a lot of crime, but that's where you live. So they're making money off you. Okay, now they even finesse white people because now they brought all the drugs and into one community, right? Force white people to move out. Like, oh, move into these gated communities. Yes, they're better. They're away from black people. Guess what? Now you're gonna pay more. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna pay more on land that don't even belong to you. So now they finesse white people too. It's everybody. They tricked you out your position. So now they moved you out of here. Now you're in a better quote unquote zip code, but you're paying more. But who told you you're supposed to pay more? They told you that? Why? Because the cost of a house, it has to be the same price because the building of the house, the structure and the architecture of the house hasn't changed for 1,000 years. It's the same structure. But for some reason, you live in this quote unquote zip code that they allocated over here, or they chartered this land, or they found this land. Now all of a sudden you got to pay more. Like, come on. They tricking you out your spot because you under color of law yet again. They use all these tactics to play these games to now all of a sudden we in so much propaganda because of the programming. We think it's us because we at some point you got to look and see where all of this is coming from. It's that system put in place on us because we actually put ourselves in it without having actual key important knowledge of understanding certain key words. This is why I harp about legal definitions, because it's all over the paperwork. If you don't understand the legal definition of these words, why are you signing and checking off on these things? Because they told you you're black? Who told you that? Prove that you're black. Oh, you a crayon. Okay. So that's why they're gonna play color of law with you. You're white? All right, we're gonna play color of law with you. All right, cool. So that's the game they playing, and they're gonna keep playing the game on you until you realize what it is.
I want y'all to be very aware next time you watch television, next time you're on TikTok, next time you're on your social media, and what the first three things you're going to see on your social media. Be very aware of what you see, and be very aware of what your social media is trying to tell you. So that's my keep the lie live for this episode. Be aware of programming. Y'all, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. We're on every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30. So we appreciate y'all for tapping in. We're on the road to 20,000 subs. We at a little over 1,000 subs right now. So continue to like, subscribe, share, 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 hit the all notification bell, and also tap into the membership portion of the page. We got different memberships and different access for different memberships. So make sure y'all tap in. Also, we have merchandise. Make sure y'all tap into the merchandise. There's also links in the bio. Also, I want to thank some of the sponsors of the show: Bravo Section, Button Snaps, and OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit us up. You can hit me on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild, or you can hit my bro on his Instagram at. Again, if you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit us up on Instagram. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of the podcast, Button Snaps. Again, where we get the finest of movie shows, documentary for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, Button Snaps. That's button, the hyphenated sign, snaps.com. Again, that's button, hyphenated sign, snaps.com. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, my new EP, my new EP, my new EP is coming. It's coming. It's coming. Pause. It's going to be out May 29th. Again, May 29th on all streaming platforms. Make sure y'all tap into. In the mean between time, just type in Ashley Lovechild. I got some fire music, y'all. Tap in. I got several albums. Make sure y'all tap in, tap in, tap in. I know my bro got his website.
BravoSection.com.
Make sure y'all tap in, continue to show that love, support. Again, we're on every Sunday, every Thursday. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? Again, thank you in the chat. Y'all in the chat, y'all was live. Y'all show love and y'all stay engaged. And that's how our show continues to build. Again, thank you for contributing in the build of the show. It means the world to us. Um, Again, we're on today's Thursday, correct? Today's Thursday. All right, so yeah, so today's Thursday. We'll be on Sunday at 10:30. Again, hit that all notification bell. You just never know when I'm gonna pop up, and we'll see y'all soon. And y'all already know, man, it's love. And we see you this Sunday at 10:30. We out.